The various properties of the soils are void ratio, porosity, degree of saturation, air content, percentage of air voids. All these properties were derived from the basic symbols such as volume of voids VV, volume of soil solids Vs, volume of water Vw, volume of air Va, total volume V, mass of the water Mw, mass of the soil solids Ms, total mass M. So now we have two types of symbols. One is the basic symbol, another one is the derived symbols. So interface relationship is the relationship between all the properties of the soils. So in order to find the relationship between all the properties of the soil, first of all we have to convert all the basic symbols in the form of derived symbols. That means we have to convert VV in the form of derived symbols such as E, N, S. We have to convert total volume or V in the form of derived symbols such as void ratio, porosity, degree of saturation, etc. Here you can see a phase diagram in which all the basic symbols, that is V, Va, Vw, Vs, Vv, Mw, Ms, M, all things were shown. So we have to convert these basic symbols into the derived symbols. So you can see here I have already converted the basic symbols into the derived symbol forms. Okay, now how did I get these symbols? I am going to derive. Okay, so I am going to now explain how I got VV is equal to E, how I got V is equal to 1 plus E. Okay, so for that I need to assume Vs is equal to 1, because we know that Vs is always a constant value. The volume of soil solid will never change. That is why Vs is equal to constant. So we can take the value of Vs is equal to unity, or let the value of Vs is equal to 1. So it may be 1 cubic centimeter, it may be 1 cubic meter, it may be anything. So we know that E is equal to E, or void ratio, is equal to VV by Vs. But we have assumed that Vs is equal to 1, that is why I can write here E is equal to VV by 1, implies that E is equal to VV. So I have written here VV is equal to E. So I have converted the volume of voids in the form of derived symbols, that is E. So VV is equal to E. Now again we know that V is equal to VB plus Vs, because total volume of soil mass is nothing but the summation of volume of voids and volume of soil solids. So I can write here V is equal to VB plus Vs. So in the phase diagram I have shown that total volume is equal to volume of voids plus volume of soil solids. Again, volume of voids is the summation of volume of water and volume of air in case of partially saturated soil. So I can write here VV is equal to E. I got earlier this value, VV is equal to E plus Vs is equal to 1. We have assumed that, so I can write V is equal to 1 plus E. Okay, again we know that SR, or degree of saturation, SR, or degree of saturation, is equal to Vw by Vv. So we can write here BW by BV is nothing but E. So SR into E is equal to BW. So here I have written BW is equal to S into E. S or SR both are same. You can write S or SR. Both symbols is used for degree of saturations. So I have converted this volume of water in the form of derived symbols. Okay. So again we know that VA or volume of air voids is nothing but the volume of voids minus volume of water. In the case of partially saturated soil, if we subtract the volume of water from the total volume of voids, then volume of air voids can be derived. Okay, so I can write BV is equal to E minus BW is equal to S into E. So it can be written as, if I take common, E 1 minus S. So VA is equal to E whole into 1 minus S. So here I have written already. Now all the volume, that is volume of soil solids, total volume, volume of voids, volume of water, volume of air voids, converted into the form of derived symbols, that is void ratio, degree of saturation, etc. All these are the derived symbols. So our motto is to convert the basic symbols into the form of derived symbols. So we have converted the total volume or all the symbols used for the volume in the form of derived symbols. Now it's time to convert the symbol of the basic symbols used for the mass of the soil solids, mass of the water, total mass, into the form of derived symbols. So let us start. We know that density of soil solid is the ratio of mass of the soil solid to the volume of soil solids. So I can write here MS is equal to rho S into BS, implies that MS is equal to rho S into 1, because we have taken BS is equal to 1. So MS is equal to rho S. Again we know that the specific gravity of soil solid is the ratio of density of soil solid to the density of water, implies that I can write here rho S is equal to G into rho W. Here rho S is equal to MS, so I can write MS is equal to G into rho W. So here I have written already MS is equal to G into rho W. Again we know that rho W or density of water is the ratio of mass of the water to the volume of the water. So here mass of the water can be written as rho W into BW. So here we know that BW is equal to S into E. So MW can be written as rho W into S into E. So here the MW is converted into the form of derived symbols. So again we know that total mass of the soil is the summation of mass of the soil solid and mass of the water. So we have converted the mass of the soil solid into the form of, into the derived forms. So we can write here MS is nothing but G into rho W and MW is nothing but SE into rho W. So rho W into G plus SE is the total mass. So here I have written. Now here I have not written a symbol, that is M saturated or saturated mass. Now I am going to convert that saturated mass into the derived symbol form. We know that M saturated or saturated mass of the soil is the summation of mass of the soil solid and mass of the water. So in case of the saturated soil, all the voids is filled with water. So we know that rho W is equal to mW by Bw. So we can write mW by B because volume of voids in the case of saturated soil is equal to the volume of water, because all the voids is filled with water. That is why we can write Bw is equal to Bb. Since in the case of fully saturated soil, Bw is equal to Bb. So mW can be written as rho W into Bb. M saturated is equal to Ms plus rho W into Bb. So here Ms is nothing but G into rho W plus rho W into Bb. So I can write, if I taking rho W common, then I can write here rho W into rho W plus Bb. Okay. So M saturated is equal to rho W into G plus, here Vb is nothing but E. So देखिए यहाँ पर हमने जो भी बेसिक सिंबल्स था उसको कन्वर्ट कर दिया है डिराइव्ड सिंबल के फॉर्म में. जो भी बेसिक सिंबल जैसे कि बी एस, बी बी, भी, बी डब्ल्यू, बी ए, एम एस, एम डब्ल्यू, एम सैचुरेटेड, ऑल दिस थिंग्स इज were converted into the derived symbols, that is G, E, S. Okay. Now again we need to establish the relationship in between all the derived symbols. तो इसका फ़ायदा क्या होगा? अगर सपोज मान लीजिए कोई भी आप सॉइल ले रहे हैं, तो वहाँ पर आपको अगर E का वैल्यू पता होगा, सपोज E इज 0.5, देन by using the interface relationship we can find the value of N, we can find the value of G or rho saturated. All these things can be derived. That is why it is very much important to find out the relationship between all the derived symbols. We know that N is equal to VV by V. So we can write N is equal to VV is nothing but E and V is nothing but 1 plus E. So this is the relationship between void ratio and porosity. If in a given soil void ratio is given, then we can find out the value of porosity by using this relationship. Okay. So we can write again N is equal to E by 1 plus E. That is why it can written as 1 plus E is equal to E by N, or N plus N into E is equal to E, or N is equal to E minus N into E, implies that E whole into 1 minus N is equal to N. So E is equal to N by 1 minus N. So it can be written here. So second is E is equal to N by 1 minus N. Okay. We know that W is equal to MW by MS. Place that W is equal to MW is nothing but AC whole into rho W. MS is nothing but G into rho W. So rho w is cancelled out from both the numerator and denominator. So final answer is w is equal to AC by G, or we can write here SE is equal to GW. So this is another relationship. SE is equal to GW. So we know that the bulk density rho is nothing but the ratio of total mass to the total volume. Okay, so total mass is nothing but G plus AC into rho W, and total volume is 1 plus E. So rho is equal to G whole into G plus AC. So rho is equal to G plus AC whole into rho W divided by 1 plus E. So here the fourth formula is rho is equal to G plus AC whole into rho W divided by 1 plus E. So we can take gamma W in place of rho W if we are considering about the unit weight in place of density. Again, in the case of dry soil, the degree of saturation is 0. We know that for dry soil S is equal to 0. Okay, so I can write, when the soil will be dry, the rho will be converted into rho d. So I can write here S is equal to 0. This term will be 0. That is why G whole into gamma W divided by 1 plus E. Okay. In the case of fully saturated soil, the degree of saturation will be 100%. So in that case, I can write the value of S is equal to 1. So for saturated soil, S is equal to 1. So here gamma will be converted into gamma saturated, or rho will be converted into rho saturated. G plus E whole into rho W divided by 1 plus E. So this is the sixth formula. Rho saturated is equal to G plus E whole into rho W divided by 1 plus E. So again we know that rho submerged is equal to rho saturated minus rho W. Earlier I have discussed in the previous videos. So this term will be written as G plus E whole into rho W divided by 1 plus E minus rho W. So after subtracting rho W, we will get the value rho submerged is equal to G minus 1 whole into rho W divided by 1 plus E. Okay. Now another formula can be derived by comparing the equation 4 and equation 5. So I can write rho by rho d is equal to G plus SE whole into rho W by 1 plus E divided by G into rho W whole into divided by 1 plus E. So 1 plus E will be cancelled out, rho W will be cancelled out. So rho by rho d is equal to 1 plus AC by G. I have divided this G with this G and this G with AC. So 1 plus AC by G is nothing but W. Here from the relationship 3, you can see here AC by G is equal to W. So rho d is equal to rho by 1 plus W. This is the another relationship. 8 number relationship rho d is equal to rho by 1 plus w. So these are the interface relationship, and we need to remember all these relationship to solve all the engineering problems related to the soil mechanics. So in this class we have discussed about the interface relationship. So all these interface relationship is very, very important, and we have to remember all the formulas in order to apply it in the daily application of soil mechanics. So in the first class I have discussed what are the different types of applications of soil mechanics. We are applying this soil mechanics in the dam, we are applying this soil mechanics in the embankment, in the earth slopes, etc. So in all these applications, this interface relationship is very, very necessary. So we have discussed over the interface relationship. In the next class we will do some problems related to these interface relationships. So आज के लिए इतना ही. Thank you.